Okay, well, good evening and welcome to this event which is jointly hosted by CentreForum, the liberal think tank of which I'm the co-director, and the Constitution Society, which is a brand new organisation with an educational purpose, which is seeking to look at all the different issues connected to constitutional reform and how they interlink. It is, as you will hear a little bit more at the end of this event when Joe Eddings from the Constitution Society will talk for 1 or 2 minutes, it takes a non-partisan and non-campaigning view to all of these issues and is simply keen to generate a lively public debate. And the series of events of which this is now the second that we're holding is designed to do just that. Last week, some of you were here, I recognise some familiar faces. We looked at the issues of protecting the rule of law. Today we have renewing democracy, and then in January and the first week of February we have 3 more events. One is looking very specifically at the House of Commons, the legislature, and how to reform that, both with relation to the expenses scandal and more broadly in terms of its powers and its ability to hold the executive to account. The fourth event is called Keeping Government in Check, and looking at the role of and the power of the executive. And the fifth event, which brings it all together both substantively and procedurally, is called Delivering Enduring Change, which asks the million-dollar question, I suppose, which is how do you, even if you have a plan, how do you actually get that into place? And our chair tonight, who's Pam Giddy from Power 2010, Pam knows more than most people know or would want to know about the process of bringing different stakeholders together around the issue of political and constitutional reform. I'm going to hand over to Pam now. She can introduce the speakers, and as I say, my colleague from the Constitution Society, Joe Eddings, who's sitting in front, will then wrap up at about 8 o'clock.
Thank you very much, and welcome to everybody on such a miserable evening. When I tell people what I do when I'm picking up my children from school, they glaze over. And then I say, well, it's all about the Constitution and democracy and stuff like that. And they say, oh, it's all a bit for anoraks, isn't it? And my former co-chair at the Power Inquiry, Ferdy Mount, gave me the great answer to this, which was, when you're in a rainstorm, you're really grateful for an anorak. And I have to say, I think we are in a rainstorm. I'm going to introduce each speaker just before they speak, partly because Douglas has to go and be a parliamentarian and vote, but he will come back for discussion later on. So I'm going to ask Douglas if he will kick off just for 10 minutes. He's a Conservative MP for Harwich and Clapton, has been since May 2005. He was voted this year, I think, by The Spectator as their parliamentarian of choice. And I came across him, not as an avid blogger, which he is, but when he wrote or co-wrote a book called Direct Democracy, and I hope he'll draw on some of that when he talks. And it was described by someone as one of the founding texts for a new revitalised Toryism. So Douglas, tell us more.
Thank you very much. I apologise for having to disappear, but I'll be as quick as I can and back for the Q&As, I hope.